This video minute is brought to you by Tax Favored Benefits, your KDA endorsed program for retirement planning services. I'm Executive Director Kevin Robertson, and this is the KDA Video Minute for Friday, May 22nd. Well, let me start by saying it's good to see you again. I know it's been a good 2 months, 10 weeks since we've done the last video minute with COVID-19 and what was going on. We are back in the office now. We're transitioning back. We've been back since Monday, May 18th. Had some issues with the phones early on. We had a storm that knocked those out last week while we were still gone. So that's all up and running. If you need to contact the KDA staff, myself, whoever, we are here and the phones are working. So please don't hesitate to give us a call if you need anything as we move forward. I want to start today with a quick wrap-up of the Kansas legislative session. I think most of you know that yesterday, Thursday, was sine die, and it was a one-day wrap-up session due to COVID that the legislature had some key issues they needed to wrap up. Now that session started yesterday at 8 a.m. They were trying to get done by midnight. It actually wrapped up this morning at 8 a.m. So it was a good 24-hour wrap-up session. Now a couple bills that was taken on that were of interest to the KDA. First of all, there was a bill that has to do with small business loans, low-interest small business loans. That bill passed. That would allow up to $150,000 for small businesses with a 10-year payback. It's not like the PPP loan nationally where it's a loan forgiveness. I mean, this is actually a loan that would have to be repaid, but it would create more options for small businesses. And then the other bill has to do with healthcare liability with regard to COVID-19. Now, it's not an immunity bill, but it does allow that businesses and healthcare providers that are following appropriate guidelines, they would have a level of liability versus any claims that might come to them. So again, you still have to social distance, you still have to wear your mask and do all the things that you've been doing, but there would be some liability, a reduction of liability exposure. Now, having said that, both of those bills, first of all, are in jeopardy to be vetoed. This was the last day of the session for the year. The governor has 10 days to sign those or let those lay on her desk or veto those. If she vetoes them, the legislature does not have the opportunity to come back and override those vetoes. So they might be vetoed. Now, for example, with the liability issue for healthcare providers, it's not because of that issue. There were several issues that were rolled into that final bill that was passed this morning, and one of those issues had to do with the governor's emergency powers during this crisis. And so there's just different issues in that bill that because the governor doesn't like them, she may veto. So we'll have to stay up to date with that and let you know what happens, but that is a definite possibility. The other issue is there is some question whether or not any bill passed after midnight could be ruled unconstitutional, because again, the session was supposed to conclude by midnight on May 21st. The final bills were passed on the morning of May 22nd. There were some legislative procedures to allow that. However, they may or may not be constitutional. So that's another issue with regard to these last couple bills. So again, we'll let you know what happens. I would like to take a minute to talk to you a little bit about the KDA's PPE efforts and our efforts to try to get PPE in the hands of Kansas dentists. I think you know that a couple of weeks ago we sent out a notification. We had talked with the governor's office and the local KEMA, the local emergency management office, about getting those out to dentists. They were in agreement. That then soon kind of changed to being all PPE, just the face shields. Frankly, what happened is those emergency management offices were overwhelmed by the requests that dentists were making, and they had an emergency meeting really the next day and decided they were only going to give face shields to dentists. We're continuing to work on that. You know, the KDA does have a task force with regard to this and reopening. So what our next effort will be to be working with the state to see if they will give us a stockpile, give us, the KDA, a stockpile of N95 masks that then we could distribute to all the dentists. We don't know that the state will allow us to do that. There are a couple other states that have been successful with that, so that is our current effort, and obviously we'll let you know if we're able to make that happen and how many and how we might distribute those if we're able to get those. While we're talking a little bit about COVID-19, the CDC has issued some new guidance with regard to dental offices. So they've removed the emergency only guidance that we've been seeing. The same link is available so you can look at those, and we're making that link available here as part of our KDA update today so that you can look at those yourself. They are in sync with the ADA guidance, and I know the ADA next week will have some more specifics about it that we will provide you. So look for that from the ADA. We'll pass it on to our members, but if you want to take a look at the new CDC guidance, please do that here at the link that we're providing. Well, let me finish today with a little update on Dr. Brett Roufs. Again, we did send out earlier this week some information about Brett. The fact that he had a severe stroke on Tuesday morning. What we're hearing this morning is that he does have some movement on his left side. He's able to move his hand, his arm a little bit on his left side. So he is getting some movement back. And then he is breathing on his own. He is able to acknowledge questions, and he's responsive to questions by nodding his head. He's not able to talk yet, but there has been slow improvement, so that is very uplifting to those of us that have strong feelings about Brett and have worked with him for a long time. So please keep Brett in your prayers and as he continues to recover, and obviously his family as well. Again, I want to thank you all. I know it's been a tough 8-10 weeks for all of you, and good luck as you continue to transition and into your new reality, I guess, at least for the short term. Ramp up your patience. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to contact Kansas Dental Association via email, or now you can call the office directly. So thank you very much for your patience with the staff and with us as we continue to help you. So thank you, and I'll be safe.